What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the JDW SportsTalkShow, where every fan is welcome. And today, we're talking about two possible head coaches that the Indianapolis Colts have just concluded interviews with today. They interviewed Dan Quinn, and they interviewed Mike Kafka. Now, if you had a choice, who would you take, Quinn or Kafka? Give me your thoughts in the comment section below. Now, if you're unsure, I have a list here of what these two coaches have been through. I have a little bit on each. So we're going to go through them today. We're going to dissect them. And we're going to determine which coach would be the best fit for the Colts of one of these two. If you enjoy Colts content, NFL content, sports content, you like football, you love football, doesn't matter if you like it or love it, this is the place for you, man. You know, talk about football, high energy. You know, we accept everyone. Come on, talk some football. This is a place for you. Make sure you like, subscribe, put that post notification bell on so you don't miss any future videos. So, first guy we're going to talk about is Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn is a very experienced defensive coordinator, very defensive minded. And, you know, something that he has that a lot of guys don't have is he is willing to evolve his scheme to where the NFL is going. He has evolved and changed his defenses. A lot of times you don't see that. A lot of times you see a lot of these guys just get stubborn and stay in their ways. And a lot of times, it's either the scheme gets outdated, it gets old, and it just doesn't work anymore. Dan Quinn changes, but he still keeps a good mix in there of a little bit of old school, and it works. So, Dan Quinn has been coaching in the NFL. He's been in the NFL. He's been in the college once with the Florida Gators since the early 2000s. He was a defensive line coach for Miami. He was I believe he was a defensive quality control coach for the Niners. Obviously, as I already mentioned, he made the stop at Florida. And we're not going to forget when he stopped at Seattle. When he came back from Florida, came back from college. And he coached this little known defense called the Legion of Boom. Might have heard of them, might have not. But you ask me, my opinion on Dan Quinn. I like him. You know, he is a solid, I think he's an okay coach. You know, I think he's a good defensive coordinator. Now, do I think is he going to be a good head coach? No, I don't think so. I don't think he's a good head coach. He has a mentality. He's willing to evolve. He's willing to change. But there's a lot of reasons that factor into, you know, like the long-term, you know, success and just staying stable for a young guy that we may get this offseason. And whether it's a draft, wherever. Because if you draft or if you hire Dan Quinn, say Dan Quinn as a defensive minded, you're gonna need a strong offensive coordinator. You're gonna need a strong offensive mind. And chances are, if that's a strong offensive mind, and your young quarterback has turned out pretty good, chances are he's not gonna be there long. And you don't want to go through this cycle. You know, say the quarterback doesn't turn out right away. You don't want to go through this cycle of recycling offensive coordinators every year and every other year. As we have seen, that does not work. So, I think we need to get the head coaching job right with an offensive mind. Because if you have the offensive mind, you'll get Andy Reid, Sean McVay. Bill Belichick's a little different of a story. But those guys tend to have great relationships with the quarterbacks. And that tends to really bond it and you know, they can't be moved because when you're the head coach, you're staying there. You're not moving, especially if your team is doing well. Now, if you're an offensive coordinator, it's a different story. It's a different story. So, in my opinion, we're going to talk about Kafka here a little bit. And I'm going to tell you some things I like about him, some things I don't like about him. Now, Mike Kafka started coaching in 2017 with the Kansas City Chiefs. He was an offensive quality control coach. He was all right. Then, he was promoted to quarterbacks coach from 2018 to 2019. After that, he was a quarterbacks coach and passing game coordinator. So, you can't say that he hasn't been around great offensive minds. He knows what kind of offense it takes. He knows how a winning culture is built. He's seen it firsthand. He watched, not willing to call the Chiefs a dynasty yet. They got to win another Super Bowl or two before that. Yeah, they've made conference championships. Doesn't necessarily mean they're a dynasty. A dynasty is winning 2 or 3 Super Bowls. Doing it over, Patriots kind of set the standard at, 10 years. So, if you go and you look at, we talked about him learning from that, but how much control did he really have with Andy Reid and with Patrick Mahomes there? How much control did he really have? Yeah, he witnessed it and he learned from it, right? But calling it and translating it into your own words, into your own system, that's a whole different ball game. And we see that plenty of times. Some of these coaches come from great systems. Perfect example, Bill Belichick coaches. Never panned out. Never panned out. Mike Vrabel's a little different. He's a phenomenal coach. So, it's a whole different story being there witnessing it and learning about it, but then taking your own twist on it and improving on it and just kind of making it better in a way. Because you can't have the same. You could, but if you try to repeat the same, it's not going to work. You have to put some little kinks and counters in there. There's a lot of factors when, even, what's another one? Another great head coach. I can't even think right now, but the point is, just because he's been around a championship caliber team and attitude and locker room and stuff like that doesn't mean that he's necessarily going to translate it into his own coaching style in a good way. But I think he is proving that wrong. I know I kind of just said we don't know. And Brian Daboll is coming from Sean McDermott's system. Brian Daboll, phenomenal. He brought such a needed energy to that team. And so did Mike Kafka. I would love to see Mike Kafka be the next Indianapolis Colts head coach. Ben Johnson's out of the equation. I'm not trading any draft capital for Sean Payton. I don't think it's worth trading any draft capital for a coach. I don't care who it is. Because you really never know what that pick could turn into. Heck, we saw the last pick of the draft last year, Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy, dart string quarterback. Some injuries happen. Steps in. He looks all right. He looks pretty good. Now is the system help? Absolutely. Now that's something a little different. Kyle Shanahan systems, those coaches always seem to bring that championship scheme and attitude with them. And I think Mike Kafka could do the same. Because Brian Daboll has a different attitude than Bill Belichick. A totally different attitude. And Andy Reid as well. So I think Mike Kafka is by far and away the better option here. Because if you think about it, if Dan Quinn, say he does work out and he's doing pretty good, you're still going to be rotating coordinators in and out. Now, if your quarterback is top tier, that's not going to matter. But if say you get one of those quarterbacks who are going to stick in the 10 to 12 range, you can't be switching systems every single offseason. It's not sustainable. Chances are that quarterback isn't even doing his job if you get to change offense coordinator every year or every other year. But point is, you want to give a young guy, whether it's Bryce Young, whoever the heck it may be, you want to give them the best possible situation to be set up for long-term success. Long-term, because if that young player develops a great relationship with Kafka, a great relationship with with the coach, and he's offensive minded, that's a win-win. I'm taking Kafka over Quin here, man. Absolutely. And being on Dable, I'd be excited to see what he would have for being a head coach. I think he could do it. I think he'd be a solid head coach. He'll bring in energy. Make sure this team is well disciplined. And I think that could really help develop a young guy. Like I said, man, some people are going to link Matt Ryan and Dan Campbell together. Or not Dan Campbell, man. Dan Quinn. That is the most ridiculous thing that I've ever heard. Just because you really want to pair a 38-year-old quarterback that can't throw the ball past 20 yards and have some good velocity on it, have some accuracy, not fumble the ball every 2 plays, with a defensive-minded guy. When we need offense more. Tell me that's a great idea. Tell me that's a great idea. Why do some people think that just because you're pairing old friends, old coach, a coach and a quarterback combo that were together in the past, why would that automatically make them the Colts, this offense just magically better? It's not. It's not. Matt Ryan sucks. At this point in his career, Matt Ryan sucks. He does not belong being a starter on an NFL team. He doesn't have velocity. The accuracy isn't there. Arm power isn't there. The dude fumbles every 3 plays. He's just not it, man. I'm being honest. Matt Ryan sucks at this point in his career. He is not going to do anything for us. And I think 95% of you understand that. There's 5% out there that somehow think Matt Ryan can do it. Oh, dear God. I better stop there. But you guys let me know your opinion in the comment section down below. Thank you for tuning in to today's show. I appreciate y'all so much. And until next time, this is JDW Sports Talk Show signing off. Oh, don't forget to subscribe and like. This is the place, man. I'm telling you. We bring energy. We bring respect. We debate with respect around here. If you need someone to talk football with, join the Discord. There's people always willing to talk in that Discord, man. I will refresh the Discord link to make sure that it's fresh and that it's working. Join that Discord, man. You'll always have someone to talk football about with. So that's all I got for you today. This is JDW Sports Talk Show signing off.